LinkedIn. I am Peter, and I am super excited to be here with you today on our Shine Your Light Brightly session. I'm here with Susie Solari, stylist extraordinaire. She's amazing, and Kate Fays, our virtual producer, such a cool title. And I'm your career coach, career job search coach, helping you find work that works for you. So yeah, I'm in charge of introducing this, and again, I'm very excited. We're really going to give you great tips on shining your brightest light possible, and the whole thing, all 360, from what you're wearing, from your appearance to what you're communicating. That's what I'm covering. Susie has the appearance and other aspects, and then Kate is going to help with the technical aspect, just so you're confident with that, so you're okay with that, because you need to be confident and really be clear and calm in shining your bright light. And so I'm just I'm trying to contain myself here because I'm like, my hands are really... So okay, so anyway, Susie, are you ready for me to hand it off to you?
Absolutely. We'll take over. Thank you for that awesome introduction, Christine, my little buddy. And thank you both, ladies, for being here together, the three of us, in this awesome collaboration to present, showing up brightly virtually. So my name is Sue Solari, and everything I do is to help you guys look and feel your best so that you're always showing up with confidence and on brand. And also utilizing your resources to the best of your abilities. So your time and your money, so that those are part of the aspects that come out. And like I said, showing up on brand is really a concept that we're all discovering in this new generation of doing so much online. So I'm going to start out by just addressing some of the challenges that we are all facing while trying to navigate this new combination of, working from home, working partially in an office in a hybrid situation, or possibly working completely from home. Christine touched on a little bit about, what we're going to talk about with, excuse me, I've got a little cold, so you got to bear with me here with technology. But what I wanted to address is how these lifestyle changes have affected so many aspects of showing up with confidence. So when we're doing so many virtual calls, there's such a thing as Zoom fatigue. Probably you guys have all felt it, where you're just like, oh gosh, another call. And that drains your energy. So that is something that comes across to the screen. Also, these lifestyle changes have affected the way that we have looked upon our wardrobe. So maybe we're dressing a little bit more casually, at least from the waist down. Mm-hmm. Maybe actually feeling that you might be feeling that your clothes are not really haven't kept up with where you are. So even if you're going back to an office, I've had clients say to me, look, Suze, going back to an office, but I really don't want to wear the structured things anymore. And sometimes possibly they've lost weight if they've been on a health challenge during this time, or gained weight. And so the clothes are just not feeling good. And that can affect our confidence too. So what the point is that what you wear matters. It affects how we feel about ourselves, and that affects the results that we get. So when we don't have a wardrobe or a closet full of outfits that reflect that, then all these other factors coming in, like not feeling ill prepared and not having that connection on brand with your audience. So I want to ask a question I know it's just the three of us here, but Lori's here. Hi, Lori. How many of you guys have on a regular basis turn off your camera when you're on a work call for Zoom?
Yeah, guilty.
Anybody? Hands up. Okay, so turning off the camera or using a biopic, not quite as bad, but it's basically sales 101 and what not to do online, because the most important thing is eye contact. Okay, so if we turn off our camera, then we're leaving all opportunity on the table to connect with not only potential clients, but with colleagues, with managers and bosses and et cetera. So the idea that we're kind of always prospecting is as part of the concept here, and that there's this duality too of when you show up with an outfit that really feels good, it doesn't itch or scratch, and it's your style. When you see yourself on camera, you all of a sudden feel lit up, just like you would in the virtual world, right? So because we don't have that environmental energetic of being able to like shake someone's hand and see their body language, we only have this 2D, right? So when we see ourselves on camera, we're like, oh wow, yeah, I washed my hair today, it looks good. Right? Like when you leave the hairdresser, you feel amazing, dynamite, you're gonna like show up and kill it, and that presentation you're doing or that talk you're giving, you're really going to nail it because you feel good, and that affects you. And then the other side of things is how others are perceiving you. Are you showing up as the expert? You may have the right words, but if you have, say, a bad camera angle, so I talk about camera angles and forward lighting and a pleasant background, it's all part of your brand. If you're looking at an iPad, for example, there's still people that are doing that, and there's a shadow coming behind them. And then all of a sudden your picture is obscured, or if there's some messy bookshelves behind you. I've seen many, many news reporters giving reports where they've got this crazy background. I'm like, what are they thinking? They're on TV. I'm distracted by their background or by their disheveled appearance, and I'm not listening to them. And that is what is the important aspect of leaving potential opportunities on the table when you don't show up on brand. Like even today, I put on this red top because it's the orange, and I've got some aubergine in my headband. These are all part of my brand colors. All right. So again, I'm touching you again. I'm touching you again with different messages about this is my brand. I've got my books, StreamYard. My books are over here. I have a model form behind me, and that reinforces, oh, Suze must have something to do with getting dressed. Oh, that looks good. And so these are subliminal messages that are happening, inside our heads when the viewer is responding to us. So, so that's kind of the whole point of what I wanted to get across to you guys. And when I'm working with clients to improve, their visual image, so that to make sure that they are on brand at all times, it's, going through my 3-step process where I'm helping them to edit out what doesn't represent them, to find what's missing. So, layering in, adding things, and then basically evaluating everything that they have, and then creating new outfits from those empowering pieces that they do have. So that's kind of really the point. We're going to answer some questions at the end, but I wanted to bring to you that what we wear matters. It affects how we feel about ourselves, and if we appear trustworthy and knowledgeable, that know, like, and trust factor that we're looking for from potential clients, and it contributes to our results. So if you want to learn more about my process, I do have a free workshop coming up. It's going to be inside my private Facebook group called the Style Lab Club. And there should be some links in the show notes too about being able to get connected with us so that you can get all that information. So I'd love to have you guys join me on that and ask me any questions. It's end of September. So look into that. And I think I covered everything. Kate's going to talk a little bit more about environment as well when it comes to tech, but we'll be popping in with more info. So I think Christine's going to take it back over, darling.
Yes, I am next. Thanks, Susie. That was super helpful. And I want to remind our audience, drop in the comments where you're watching this from. And then if you have any questions for us, please feel free to drop your questions. I have been monitoring the comments as we're streaming to multiple platforms today, but in LinkedIn, I've been monitoring the comments. So I haven't seen any questions, but put your questions in there if you do have some, all right? Because we can address those during the Q&A or even fold it into our presentation right now. Okay, so I get to cover the content of our virtual meetings, and a lot of my clients that I work with are doing a job search. I do have clients that aren't in job search mode. We talk about their overall career plan, but it's important to share your story because that's how you're memorable from a professional standpoint. And job seekers, you especially, you want to be memorable. How do we do that? How does it work? When you registered for this event, you should have received one of the freebies that you received was my Star Stories worksheet. That's the starting point. That's where you go to really craft those stories that you want to share in the interview process, even in putting together your resume. Your LinkedIn profile is a huge component of that. And consistently throughout your job search process. And then with your career, you need to have the clarity so you're showing up the way you want to show up. Star Stories worksheet, back to that. Your strengths. What are your strengths? You really should know what your 5 top strengths are. In the professional world, in your work experience, maybe you worked at an employer where they had you do an assessment. There's many assessments out there. And there is one assessment specifically that tells you what your strengths are. That's the Strengths Finder assessment. I like that one a lot, and I work on that one with my clients. You start with what those strengths are. And then from there, for each strength, you come up with at least one story. If you can come up with more, the better. You want to have specifics in each story. You want to have concrete, quantitative things. If you're a salesperson, you want to talk about what were your sales achievement? What were your results? Did you exceed your quota by 120%? Details like that, again, stick in the brain and stick in that hiring manager's brain because not everyone is doing that on their resume either. So again, you want to be memorable. So use that Star Stories worksheet to come up with your stories, to craft your stories for each one of your strengths. And then from there, you can expand. But again, you want to consistently be sharing that at different touch points of your interview process and in your career. And in your career, as you work in your career, you need to keep track of those stories. And I work with my clients in helping them to keep track of those stories and to really leverage them so they can really shine even more in their career. Susie touched upon something that I just wanted to make sure that I covered with you as well. And what that is eye contact. Eye contact is so important. The eyes are the window of the soul. And when we had to switch to virtual meetings with people, it can be tricky. What do? I recommend that you look at the camera lens on your camera, and sometimes we forget where that is. It's easy to want to look at the person on your screen, look at them, but really you should have eye contact with that camera lens. So put your finger over where the camera lens is as a reminder. And if you need to put a Post-it note there, just go ahead and do that. But that should help you. Another quick tip that I wanted to share with you too is I mentioned your LinkedIn profile. Again, so many people neglect their LinkedIn profile. They're so focused on their resume. Don't do that. Your LinkedIn profile, it's so easy for someone to pull that up on their phone when they first meet you, or even when they see your name flash across their email or their screen. Your LinkedIn profile is your story, your professional story. And think of it almost as your web page too, your website. You want people to stay on your profile and learn more about you and learn your story. And you've got to spend the time on that and have a professional profile picture, and also use the banner on your LinkedIn profile. Don't have the standard LinkedIn banner. No, 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 no. That is free real estate to communicate you. And I've heard other coaches, I think we're all basically on the same page with this. That is your free billboard for you to get your brand across and your message across. And yes, I'm waving my hands because this is important.
How many times do you see that, Christine? Yeah, right?
That's huge.
Yeah,
It
you're
is.
right.
It
It's
really is.
prime real estate.
Yep. Every square inch of that LinkedIn profile, utilize it. I am in full agreement on that.
Yeah, and if you, another tip too is if you need some good examples, LinkedIn is rich in resources. LinkedIn is such a fabulous platform, and they have excellent examples of LinkedIn profiles, and they give different types of ways to go at it. And I'm here to provide service to you. You need one-on-one time, we'll get you there, but you can really, yeah. So check that out too. Okay, so I need to wrap up so I can hand it off to Kate, and I need to get off my soapbox here. But so anyway, I'm here on LinkedIn every Monday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, doing my complimentary planning session. It's not just for job seekers. It's also for professionals who, just, you need a plan. Failure to plan is planning to fail.
That's a good
Don't do it. And you don't need a lot of time to plan. It's easy, and I will walk you through it. Come to my planning session. And even if you can't be there right at 10, you can come at 10:15 and get on my email list so you can get the resources from that. But yes, that's what I would say. That's how I can help you. And okay, I'm stepping off my soapbox now. Kate, it's all yours.
Okay. I am going to reiterate, because we've talked about this, how repetition really drives something home, and especially the importance of some of the things that you both touched on. So I'm going to start from the top and work my way back down. So Sue's brought up using that lighting and and what a difference a $5 ring light makes. All the difference in the world. Getting a little Logitech camera, so different too from your laptop computer. So if you're turning, and you should be, as we've said, turning that video on your computer so you can make that eye contact, then you have to really take a look at the stuff that you have, and maybe you're just missing it by this much. Maybe that little ring light would make so much of a difference in your appearance. And there's an interesting statistic, and I'm probably going to misquote it, but it's somewhere in the first minute that people make a snap decision, a snap judgment, and we're all guilty of this. You can't even say you're not, of deciding whether you want to listen to someone or not, whether they're credible or not, whether they're worthy of your time. So within that first minute, you're going, yeah, maybe not. And you've already lost people. And we've talked about distractions. So I was formerly in television news, and that is so important. So dangly, shiny, what you're wearing, makeup, hair, anything can be a distraction. And what you're wanting people to take in is your message. So as soon as you lose someone with something goofy happening in the background, or some ticking noise, or the sound of someone tapping on their keyboard, anything small and insignificant to you can just throw people completely off. So really being mindful of that. So let's tie in technology since that's my thing. So in a lot of virtual platforms now, two specifically that I utilize all the time, Zoom and WebEx meetings. In the audio button, and I'm pointing down in the corner, but it's this corner. You can change your audio settings. So in your microphone button in both of these platforms, go into your audio settings and make sure that you have the background noise turned to, in Zoom, it's high instead of normal, or in WebEx, it's suppressed background noise to whatever level, but bump that level up to the highest. I've tested this out with a squeaky toy right near the speaker of the computer, and talking still yet, no squeaky toy. No one registered any other crazy noise in the background. So these tools really, really work well. And, even like I said, typing or a pen. Sometimes people have just a nervous, they're just sitting there and they're, as they're listening to you, they just kind of tap, tap, tap. And for anyone else and anyone who doesn't have that turned off, that would drive me absolutely insane. So small things like that. So we talked about lighting, and I mentioned this ring light that I have. It's in front of me. That's very, very important too. Not above my head, not to the side of me, not behind me. So I see a lot of people and very credible, great speakers, and their message is powerful and gives you goosebumps. And you just wish that you could have said at the beginning, if you would just want to, that one little thing just threw me slightly and caused me to disconnect with you this much. And I just wish that you would have had that little bit of knowledge ahead of time. So things like that, the eye contact, the level of your computer is so important. So now people are using standing desks. People are just all kinds of different setups. I'm hearing of closet offices, garage offices. People have come up with the wildest things. I've seen ironing boards as desks. It's incredible. The creativity is awesome. So keeping in mind where that is, and you can even, so let's talk Zoom, for instance, where you have your slides out in front of you or your main speaker, but then you have thumbnails along the top. You can kind of play with those and move those around if you need to, so that you could potentially line up someone you're speaking directly with your camera, so that it appears more like you're keeping eye contact. But I think it's important to, I know there's a big push, eye contact on here. So this is me staring directly into the camera as eye contact. But really, when I have a conversation with you, sometimes I might look over here and it's not, I think that Zoom fatigue has a lot to do with focusing on those things and focusing and worrying about what you look like on there. So if I look like this, am I looking in it? Am I making eye contact? Worrying about all those things. I think knowing that, making a conscious decision to focus on eye contact, but just being natural too. Like right now, I'm not looking at that little circle, but it looks to you probably like I'm making eye contact with you. But being comfortable and not obsessing about those things, so that you're like, oh, I can't wait to turn this camera off because I am just so uncomfortable. I think that plays a huge part in this. And I do agree. People nowadays, we don't have that connection. We're not in the office. We don't get to see people and connect with people. So this is our connection. And I'm seeing in a lot of virtual meetings and such, when there's an activity where people get to work together and have that conversation time, like a breakout, people just want to be in there all day. They come back, well, we didn't have enough time. Like, you were in there for 20 minutes. What do you mean you didn't have enough time? We don't have all day. But it's interesting to see that people are really missing that human connection. And this is the best way that we can do that. So technology, otherwise, I think it's really important to have a base knowledge. There are a lot of tools that I don't see people using. So Zoom has update after update, and I'm loving it because that's my shtick. That's, what I do for a living. But keeping people up to date and saying, okay, well, did you know we could do this now? Did you know we could do this? Did you? And everyone's going, oh, no, bare minimum. I clicked on the link. I unmuted. I turned on my video at best. I might not have even turned my video on. So I think taking the time to make sure your Zoom and I keep deferring to Zoom, so forgive me on that. Make sure that your virtual platforms are updated. Make sure that you have all of these new tools and all these new gadgets so that you can utilize these things and make sure that you're getting the best use out of all of this technology when you're on here.
Can you tell us one,
Yes.
Kate, like one new update from Zoom? I prefer Zoom, but anything come to mind that you think would be helpful?
The version currently 5.7.6, I think we're on now, and was just maybe last weekend.
Okay.
And it doesn't always prompt you. So I think some people say to me, well, I didn't see any alert. I don't know anything about that. So you might just have to hop on there and check, get on up in the top corner and click on your profile picture, scroll down, and then, check for updates in all of these platforms. Yeah. Check for updates.
Yeah, that's been my experience. Is Zoom does not prompt me. And like one of the updates I experienced, like I was in virtual meetings with people and I really liked the the blurred background that you get with Zoom, but I didn't see it. I'm like, I want that. How do I get that? And I asked people and they said, oh, it's in the settings. And I, couldn't find it. And then one of them was like, yeah, make sure you have the most current version of Zoom because that was it. And sure enough, so it's like you have to regularly go in there and make sure that you do have the most current version.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think that's to all of our benefits. Just all these new things that we can do to better utilize these platforms. Yes, I see a comment coming through now from Julie. It's in settings, right? Just going through each and every one and make sure before you have a meeting or a session or whatever it is, even when maybe you have someone like me, a producer on the line, introducing tech tools at the beginning and saying, oh, this can be found here, this can be found there. And then I have a handful of people pretty much every session going, well, I don't have that. And I don't have that. I only have this or this. Well, if we have a break or after today, go back in there and check out your settings and see if, there's something in there that you can do to update so that you have more of that versatility.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to say too, I do have the bulk of my experience is with Zoom. However, I have used Teams. I personally prefer Teams. I felt that, but then again, I mean, Zoom and Teams have their individual pros and cons. And I think Zoom is just the easiest for everybody to use.
I'm in agreement. But I see them competing neck and neck. So where Teams allowed you to utilize different apps within the platform, Zoom now has that. That's part of their newest update is you can use I'm just trying to Miro boards or something. You can use those apps right inside the platform, which is really neat. And I think the for me as a producer, ease of breakouts and being able to shift people around or move people in and out as they have to pop on and off of the line for other meetings or other things happening in their lives. I need that flexibility to maneuver in these different platforms. And Zoom definitely does offer ease of doing that.
Yeah, it does.
Do we have more tools, Kate, or we do have some questions coming in? I saw one that I'd be happy to answer, but do you still have some more tech tools for us? Or?
Oh no, if you want to jump into some of these questions, I think that would be a great idea.
And I can't see all of them. There's not a list for me, but I do recall some that popped up. I just wanted to say hi to all of our viewers and people who are putting in great comments. And I love the one that came just now from Kelly Butler about changing her perspective on these tools. Instead of saying, oh my God, it's such a pain. Oh, I hate this. Is just flipping that switch and that script, I should say, and saying, oh, I get to learn this and I get to expand my brain and evolve. So that's what a lot of all of these things we're talking about is Bobbin, kind of thrown these challenges. And so it's a good way to just change your viewpoint. But I did also want to answer a question that came through about a story, like one of Christine's star stories, which I love her little sheet. And you guys make sure that you do definitely ask for a copy of that. Also included when you sign up, it should be my top 3 tips for crushing your Zoom calls. Didn't mention that earlier. So you'll get a copy of that. If you didn't, just send me a message and I'll make sure that you get that. And that's my top 3 what to wear items for showing up on brand. And it's a bright colored top with a V-neck, even for guys, because that's the most flattering silhouette. It's nice to show a little bit of skin. Not too much, but unless you're in Latin America news, they have different culture, but a bright colored, I like to talk about jewel tones. And then something like a necklace, a statement necklace, or an earring. In my case, I'm in creative industry, so I can wear both. And then something comfortable on the bottom that's also chic that you can still go out and pick up the groceries or whatever it had to be, that you weren't in pajama pants. So those top 3 tips for crushing your Zoom calls. But what I wanted to address was a story. So I was working with a client about 2 years ago, and she's in the healthcare industry, and she wanted her next level jump up in her career. So she had her eye on the C-suites, as we like to say, right? And she knew that she didn't have time. She was so busy building her career that she still had really outdated clothing that just she knew did not represent the executive person that she was wanting to be. She had things from college even. And so she reached out for help. And what we did was we removed all those things that didn't give her that confidence and that branding of the executive. But we went shopping, and that was the biggest thing, because she really didn't have a lot. I called her like an over-purger, where she would just remove, but then not replenish what she was missing. So she ended up wearing the same, things over and over again that didn't make her feel good, that didn't light her up. And when we went shopping, we made all these great outfits, and the success was that she felt so confident in all these interviews that she was doing. And so that's the thing that I talk about with Christine a lot too. She's a career coach. So it's having these outfits planned for you and ready to go the night before, stage, talk about staging. So with Rachel, we were able to stage these outfits for each one of her interviews, because there's so many, when you're job searching, there could be like 10 interviews, right, Christine? I mean, that surprised me.
Oh, yeah.
That you could have that many. And
yes.
So she was successful in gaining her dream job, and she doubled her salary overnight. So it was just a wonderful story that I felt like so proud that I could be part of her team. So that's one of my star stories.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's wonderful. And you brought up a point that I wanted to touch upon too. And one of my clients who landed recently, she had really good connections too. So we were building to cultivate those connections. But her experience in the interview process was, yes, lots of steps, lots of interviews. Mm-hmm. And as one of our questions that we received, like I believe it was Kelly who brought up the question or made the comment of seeing things in a positive light. Don't be sucked into the negative, because if you're job searching, you could easily be sucked into, oh gosh, I have to do 4 interviews and I have to, one of them is a panel interview. Don't go down that road. Don't let your energy go in that direction. It's an energy suck. It doesn't serve you in any way, shape, or form. Instead, remember, you are vetting the company as much as they are interviewing you. And it's to your benefit. You want to make sure that where you go next, your next position is work that works for you, that it excites you. Like when your alarm goes off in the morning, you can't wait to get to your desk or just get started and, and really thrive and be happy. So that's just, I wanted to touch upon that. Yes, the interview process can be long and have many steps, and it's to your benefit. Make it to your benefit.
Definitely.
It's important.
Do you have more questions, Kate, that came up that we wanted to answer?
Yeah, I've been monitoring it as well, as we're on like different platforms here. Isn't technology the coolest?
Yeah. That's probably My favorite part about my job, connecting people from all over the world.
Yeah. That was the silver lining from the pandemic. Like
Right.
I know, Susie, the Women's Forum. That's how I think that was how we first met. So
That's
that
how we
was this
met.
awesome. It is a
Mhm.
wonderful group of women networking on a regular basis. And before the pandemic, all of their meetings were in person.
Hmm.
And the pandemic hit, and they did a great job pivoting in going
Yeah.
to virtual meetings. And because of that, they are able to reach even more people.
Mhm.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah,
And
with
so that
Barbara.
was
Mhm.
yeah,
I think that's
that was an
something
awesome.
that's really
Go
huge
ahead.
too. I hear a lot of people who might start out with an idea like you're saying. We started out in person and we're used to there's a group of about 25 of us, and this is, someone asking me about what I do and how I might be able to help them, and I'll say, "Okay, that 25 is great. That's great for in person. What do you think about casting a much wider net? What do you think about using
The Women's Forum. That's
these
how
virtual
I think that was
platforms
how we
for this?"
met.
And
So that was an awesome. It is a wonderful group
Oops.
of women
no
networking.
worries.
Was open on my part.
There you are.
I'm in perfect action.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Missed that. I had a little glitch there.
No worries. No worries. Yeah,
It's
I think
okay.
that having that mindset, changing your mindset to the way the world is now and the
Mhm.
capabilities that we actually have, and not limiting yourself. And even if you don't realize what's really out there and what the capabilities are, reaching out to someone who
Mhm.
does, finding someone who can help you just blow it out of the water, hit it out of the park, whatever, knock it out of the park. The capability is there now. There's just so much. And Christine, you talked about LinkedIn. My goodness, free advertising.
Yeah.
That really is and can be your webpage, everything about
Mhm.
you, your business, what you do, and just utilizing every nook and cranny on there. I think too, I can kind of tell who's staying up on their platform, on their the newest things. Like we talked a little bit about creator mode and how utilizing that or switching over to that on LinkedIn so that you can be followed. There are some accounts I will check out where you don't even see the ability to follow someone. So I'm just talking about updating and making sure that you're utilizing all of this functionality to the best of its ability.
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
I would
Just
really
to,
look into things like that. Get into
yeah.
your account and yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna pop up some more of
Yeah.
these comments.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch upon comfort zone often, and I did a post. The reason why this is like top of mind for me, I did a post on your comfort zone at least 2 or 3 months ago, and someone still reacted today. I saw a notification in LinkedIn that they reacted to it, and that went viral. I mean, it's had already over 6,000 views.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was really exciting to see that. But it's a good reminder, because how can we really get the results that we want, that we've been chasing after, without stepping outside of our comfort zone?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a new world,
It
right?
is.
And that's the thing, is to look at changing again the way you look at things. Is I get to do this, right? We're
Mhm.
all evolving. I mean, we're here to grow, right? So staying in your little hidey hole is just not going to serve you, and it's not going to work, because we are being pushed. But that's what we're here for. Don't do it alone, right? We're here to help
Yeah.
you guys.
Right. Right.
Yes. And I just had someone ask about the organization that I was talking about. So I am putting it in the comments now. The Women's Forum
Yeah.
is, and it was started by Cap Strat, which is Susie and I are both here in the Chicago area. and Kate is in the Pittsburgh area.
Mhm.
And but yeah, it's definitely, you want to check out the Women's Forum because they are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they have speakers and different programs, and it's Barbara Best and
Nancy.
Nancy Rizzolo. Nancy Rizzolo.
Yes, yeah, they are. They always have great resources for us. So yeah, and the thing is too with technology, getting back to that, because some of us may have the story playing in our head, and I had been doing that. It's like, oh, I'm not good at technology. Stop that. That's
Yes.
that doesn't serve me in any way, shape, or form. And you know, as I stretch outside of my comfort zone, you know, I'm just going for it, you know, and I made a connection with Kate not too long ago this year. And here we are doing this collaboration with Susie, and, you know, and it's great. I'm having a blast. So I
Just that
encourage all of
networking.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And collaborating and you know, creating strategic partnerships and
Mhm.
you know, we can absolutely grow our careers online and show up brightly with confidence everywhere we go, and whatever platform.
So true.
To
Or multiple at once, as we're
Mm.
doing here today.
all right.
Who knew?
I know it's on my Facebook Live moments. I went to go look at some questions and pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool stuff. I'm going to go ahead and put my profile in the comments on LinkedIn too. I'm assuming that everyone is connected to me, but if not, you can connect with me or follow me, because that is important as I post every
For
day.
LinkedIn.
And I,
Very
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that people get my resources.
Mhm.
And you can check all of those out in the comments. I've added all of our YouTube pages and our LinkedIn pages, our business pages, Facebook, whatever pages are associated with everything that we're doing, so that you can reach out and get connected and learn more, become a connection, become a follower.
Right.
All of these things are so
Yes.
important. I think especially for women, you know, really working together and you know, connecting with each other and doing little things like that. Follow my YouTube page or follow my, you know, my business page, and working together like that. Really boosting
What
each
it's
other.
about. Yeah. And helping each other grow and
Yeah.
connecting through, you know, our communities together.
Right.
So we're almost at time, guys. We did good.
Yes, we are almost. And I want to thank everyone for all the comments that we've received and the support in doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just checking one last time for questions, but I don't see any. So I think we can wrap up. I think we're good.
Yeah. And if you watch on replay, please do put the questions in, and we definitely will go back and answer them. So,
right.
Yeah. Been a pleasure spending this afternoon with you, lovely ladies, and some gentlemen that were on here too.
Yep. We do appreciate you. Send us a
We
message.
do.
Let us know that, you know, if you didn't send us a comment, send us a message, DM us on LinkedIn, and let's make sure that we're following each other, that we're connected, that we're helping each other out, and let's do that moving forward.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And have a great week, everyone. And we have a holiday in the United States. We have a holiday coming up. So
Right.
that's exciting too for Monday. So a long weekend. Yay.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
See you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.